Picture a tall teenager from Athens, Georgia, stepping in front of her bathroom mirror, uncertain of what she sees and trying to remember a time she didn't shy away from her own reflection. She's got ballet lessons behind her, cheerleading stints that tested her nerve, and a quiet determination swirling inside. Her mother is an actress and model. Her father is a one-time big band musician turned loan manager. And at this moment, the girl wonders if her path might ever lead to something bigger, maybe the glamorous world of magazines and film. That teenage girl is Kimala Ann Basinger, born on December 8, 1953. And her transformation from shy dancer to one of the highest-paid actresses in Hollywood is nothing short of extraordinary. The journey will take her from small-town pageants to the cover of magazines in New York City, from blockbuster film sets to precarious financial ruin, from heartbreak to Academy Award triumph. By the time she emerges with an Oscar in hand, she's also sporting a complicated love life, a few behind-the-scenes controversies, and a dogged sense that she can't be pinned down by any single label. Her story starts in Athens, Georgia, where Kim is the third of 5 siblings in a devout multi-ancestry household, English, German, and Ulster Scots in the mix. The Basingers are Methodists, raising the kids with certain moral guidelines. But from a young age, Kim is all about movement. By 3, she's in ballet classes, absorbing the discipline, the music, the artistry. She sticks with dance into her mid-teens, though her intense shyness remains a constant. She's quiet, sometimes socially awkward, nearly paralyzed in certain situations. Yet, ironically, she also becomes a cheerleader at her high school, forcing her to get up in front of a crowd. People note that behind the pom-poms and chants, she's still that timid soul, but she's learning how to project confidence even if it doesn't come naturally. This willingness to push through fear is a pattern that will define her entire career. At 17, she dips a toe into the pageant world, entering America's junior Miss Scholarship pageant. She doesn't win at the state level, but a spark of her rare beauty and presence becomes evident in national coverage. Though the pageant circuit might have launched a typical path for a small-town starlet, Kim's route is about to shift drastically. She is offered a modeling contract by Ford Modeling Agency in New York, one of the biggest deals a pretty young hopeful can get, but initially she turns it down, with her devout background urging caution. Instead, she tries the University of Georgia, exploring singing and acting on campus. But soon enough, the lure of the big city lights is too strong. She reconsiders the Ford contract, packs her bags, and relocates to Manhattan, plunging into the hardcore hustle of the modeling scene. She's just a teenager, but she's about to start pulling in $1,000 a day for shoots, an almost unimaginable figure for a girl from Athens, Georgia. Despite the money, the fame, the swirling excitement, she hates it. I felt myself choking, she says later, referencing the grind of modeling. She confesses she avoids mirrors. The Breck shampoo girl persona she's forging in ads and magazine covers only heightens her insecurities. She's an introvert forced to sell extroverted glamour. Nevertheless, she finds success. In the early 1970s, Kim Basinger is plastered on covers, featured in countless ads, known for her figure, her blonde hair, and that intangible it factor. She balances the modeling day job with studying acting at the Neighborhood Playhouse and the William Esper studio. She also sings in Greenwich Village clubs at night, fueling her deeper creative desires. But by 1976, she's had enough of the modeling treadmill. She saved some money, gleaned a little confidence from living alone in New York, and decides to pivot fully to acting. She sets her sights on Los Angeles, the epicenter of film and television. The transition is nerve-wracking, but as a determined 20-something, she believes it's time to see what Hollywood might offer. In LA, she starts from near zero. She picks up small guest spots, an appearance on McMillan and Wife, a cameo on Charlie's Angels. She's offered a full-time role on Charlie's Angels, but declines. Not wanting to lock herself into a formulaic TV show, she's shooting for bigger things. Her first significant starring role is in a made-for-TV movie called Katie, Portrait of a Centerfold, 1978. That role might not rocket her to stardom, but it's a foot in the door. Another early break arrives with the 1979 miniseries adaptation of From Here to Eternity, where she plays Lorene Rogers, a prostitute, a more substantial, if edgy, role. She reprises that in a short-lived series spin-off in 1980. The same year, Hard Country, 1981, marks her feature film debut, though it doesn't exactly blow up the box office or raise her profile drastically. Then in 1981, Playboy approaches her with a notable proposition, a nude pictorial. She poses, but the material sits unpublished for a while. Not until 1983 does Playboy release it, coinciding with her bigger leaps in the film world. That pictorial will become a milestone, forging her as a sex symbol. Meanwhile, she acts in smaller projects, Charlton Heston's directorial effort Mother Lode, 1982, among them, but it's Never Say Never Again that truly amplifies her name internationally. Released in 1983, it's the Bond film starring Sean Connery returning as 007. Kim Basinger plays Domino Petacci, the Bond girl, catapulting her to wide recognition. Though the film wasn't officially part of the Eon production series, it raked in around $160 million, and Basinger found herself in the orbit of unstoppable publicity. She was no longer a struggling actress. She was a newly minted star, a glamorous presence capturing the world's attention. Following that Bond triumph, she co-stars in The Man Who Loved Women, 1983, under director Blake Edwards, starring Burt Reynolds. She then lands a key role in The Natural, 1984, alongside Robert Redford, a film about baseball's mythical aura. Her portrayal of the femme fatale memoir lead Harriet Bird gets her a Golden Globe nomination. These roles cement her status as a serious actress, not just a model playing dress-up. Meanwhile, that Playboy shoot from 1981 finally surfaces in 1983, fueling a surge in her popularity as a genuine 1980s sex symbol. Directors want to cast her, not just for her looks, but also for the intangible vulnerability she brings to her on-screen characters. She works with Blake Edwards again in Blind Date, 1987, and continues picking up roles in smaller pictures like No Mercy, 1986, or Nadine, 1987, building a patchwork of comedic and dramatic credentials. Then the year 1986 arrives with 9.5 Weeks, an erotic drama directed by Adrian Lyne, co-starring Mickey Rourke. Basinger's portrayal of a New York art gallery employee, plunged into a provocative affair with Rourke's John Gray, is so explicit and psychologically intense that North American audiences are put off. The film bombs stateside, but it becomes a global phenomenon in Europe, eventually turning into a cult classic. Despite the initial flop, Basinger's star presence grows globally. She cements her brand as the sensual yet somewhat haunting leading lady who's unafraid to take on controversial roles. By 1989, she lands the role that might define her for mainstream audiences. Vicky Vale in Tim Burton's Batman, starring opposite Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. It's a huge financial success, raking in over $400 million globally and catapulting superhero cinema forward. On set, rumor has it she and producer John Peters tangle with rewriting the script's final act. Some gossip suggests a behind-the-scenes affair between them. The exact details remain elusive, But Basinger's involvement in shaping that iconic Batman remains recognized. In any case, the film cements her as a major box office draw. She follows Batman with The Marrying Man, 1991, co-starring Alec Baldwin, a romantic comedy that fails at the box office, but sparks real-life romance between her and Baldwin. Then come roles in Final Analysis, 1992, with Richard Gere, the edgy cartoonish flick Cool World, 1992, comedic cameo in Wayne's World 2, 1993, and a range of smaller comedic or thriller parts. People label her a bit unpredictable, particularly as she's known for occasionally turning down roles or showing a mercurial side on set. Meanwhile, she weds Baldwin in 1993. They star together again in The Getaway, 1994, which underperforms and triggers rumor mills about their relationship's stress. The cameo they do on The Simpsons in 1998 is a comedic take on themselves, feeding the mania for real-life celebrities, mocking their own images. In the early 1990s, after The Marrying Man's disappointment, Basinger makes a fateful misstep with the ill-fated boxing Helena in 1993. She withdraws from the project, prompting a lawsuit that results in an $8.9 million judgment against her. She's forced to declare bankruptcy, eventually settling for $3.8 million. This fiasco, combined with other financial troubles, like her misguided purchase of an entire town, Brazelton, Georgia, in 1989, makes headlines. She's seen as the star who soared too high, too quickly, and mismanaged her fortunes. She recedes from the spotlight for a time, licking her wounds. Then 1997 arrives, and so does her shot at redemption, L.A. Confidential. Directed by Curtis Hanson, the neo-noir film sees Basinger playing a high-end prostitute named Lynn Bracken, styled to look like Veronica Lake. The film is a critical darling, praised for its labyrinthine plot and old-school atmosphere. Basinger's performance stands out among heavy-hitting co-stars like Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, and Kevin Spacey. She exudes a wounded delicacy that charms critics. She wins the 1997 Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, plus a Golden Globe and a SAG Award for the same role. After years of overshadowed potential, Basinger seizes her Oscar moment. People call it a triumphant comeback. She bristles at the phrase comeback, feeling she never truly left. But in the public's mind, she rose from near oblivion to the top of her game in a single film. But success is never a straight line. In 2000, Basinger invests in the passion project I Dreamed of Africa, playing the real-life kooky Gallman. The film bombs, overshadowed by critics' negative reviews. She remains philosophical, calling it an artistic labor of love. Then in 2002, she teams up again with Curtis Hanson in 8 Mile, starring Eminem. She plays the troubled, alcoholic mother of Eminem's Jimmy Smith Jr. The film is a massive success, $242.9 million globally, and critics hail Basinger's performance as raw and sympathetic, a far cry from her glamour roles. She continues that momentum with The Door in the Floor in 2004, a well-received drama, and The Sentinel in 2006, where she portrays the First Lady, co-starring with Michael Douglas and Kiefer Sutherland. In parallel, she re-enters comedic or smaller roles, cameoing in Wayne's World 2, guest starring on The Simpsons, and diving into indie dramas like The Burning Plain, 2008, with Charlize Theron and Jennifer Lawrence. Some roles land, others fade quickly. She tries her hand at producing with While She Was Out, 2008, an indie thriller about a suburban mother fighting for survival, releasing it quietly. The early 2010s see her in ensemble projects like The Informers, 2009, Charlie St. Cloud, 2010, playing Zac Efron's mother, and black comedic cameo in The Nice Guys, 2016, with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. She also picks up smaller roles in the 50 Shades series, 2017's 50 Shades Darker, and 2018's 50 Shades Freed, playing Elena Lincoln, Christian Grey's older ex-lover. Critics are torn, but it's a sign Basinger can still snag mainstream gigs in big franchises. All the while, her personal life remains complicated. She dated Joe Namath in her teens, rumored. She first married makeup artist Ron Snyder Britton in 1980, changed his last name to Britton, overcame severe agoraphobia that left her housebound for 6 months. They divorced in 1989, and she paid monthly alimony. Then came her famed marriage to Alec Baldwin in 1993, which produced a daughter, Ireland, in 1995. But by the end of 2000, the couple separated, launching a vicious custody fight that cast both in an unflattering spotlight. Baldwin, in his memoir, fumed about the ordeal, while Basinger maintained stoic silence. Their feud lingered in the tabloids for years. After the divorce, she was rumored to have had a fling with Eminem, which both denied. She eventually found solace with longtime hairstylist Mitch Stone wearing matching gold bands, though never legally marrying again. She's famously said she's done with conventional marriage, wanting to preserve her own identity. Financial woes haunted her from the boxing Helena fiasco onward. She sold portions of Braselton, Georgia, at a loss. She had to handle million-dollar lawsuits. She faced steep bills, yet she survived, forging new roles, re-establishing her brand. She also retreated from some family ties, rumored estrangement from her mother Anne, though they apparently tried to reconnect in later years. As for her father Don, they had limited contact. He passed at 93 in 2016. Despite the chaos, Basinger invests her energies in activism. She supports PETA, does anti-fur campaigns, poses in famously provocative ads to protest cruelty, and advocates for farm sanctuaries. Career-wise, Basinger sits among the few who both posed for Playboy and won an Oscar. She soared from a $1,000 a day Ford model to a major Hollywood earner. She snagged iconic roles from Bond girl Domino Patacci to the mesmerizing Lynn Bracken in L.A. Confidential. Even as her personal life unraveled in highly public ways, marriages, divorces, lawsuits, custody battles, she never stopped identifying as an actress first. She claims that modeling was a fling, but acting is her real love. Over time, though, she's starred in over 50 roles. Many fans recall her best for Batman, 1989, or 9.5 Weeks, 1986, or that final redemption in L.A. Confidential, 1997. Younger viewers might know her from 8 Mile or 50 Shades Freed. She's adapted well, showing comedic chops or cameo appearances that reveal a sly sense of humor about her image. In 2022, Basinger dabbled in NFT territory, collaborating with director Peter Bogdanovich for LIT Project 2 Flux. In 2023, she lent her voice or presence to crime boss Rockay City, a video game that further cements her surprising expansions. She remains an actress who refused to be pigeonholed. She overcame intense stage fright, overcame bankruptcies, overcame a meltdown with big studios, overcame heartbreak in multiple relationships. She's had unstoppable resilience, apparently. Her story is far from conventional, bridging intense controversies, like withdrawing from boxing Helena or fighting Baldwin tooth and nail in court, and quiet, philanthropic endeavors that seldom make headlines. So Kim Basinger is the small-town Georgia girl who was an unbelievably shy dancer, then a pageant hopeful, then a top-tier Ford model in Manhattan, then a star in edgy films that challenged mainstream acceptance. She soared high in the 1980s, saw a meltdown in the 1990s, rebounded with an Oscar, delved into activism, endured personal fiascos, and still found ways to keep working. She's simultaneously the woman who posed for Playboy at a time it could have overshadowed her career, and the woman who insisted on picking roles that tested her range. She was a Bond girl who didn't let that define her. She played a cartoon hybrid in Cool World, launched a comedic cameo in Wayne's World 2, and even played Eminem's mother with heartfelt realism. Today, she stands as living proof that a star can bounce back from adversity time and again. She's also known for an unwavering devotion to her craft. Colleagues speak of her perfectionism, rarely giving easy interviews, often wanting to vanish behind the scenes once the cameras stop rolling. She's admitted to hating publicity, rarely attending big Hollywood gatherings, perhaps a lingering effect of her early modeling insecurities. She's never entirely at ease with the spotlight, which ironically suits the image of a star who's always had a mysterious aura. Even as she soared with big franchises or major studios, she remained in some ways that shy child from Athens, Georgia, looking in the mirror and not quite seeing what the world sees. Her personal life, while not always comedic, does have comedic notes. She refused to do entire roles unless she could rewrite scenes. She famously locked horns with directors or producers about character arcs, once rewriting part of Batman's final act with John Peters. She'd be rumored to have an affair with the producer or to feud with co-stars. In reality, she was just fiercely protective of her craft. Her relationships with men like Baldwin or Prince, yes, there was rumor of that, though never fully confirmed, highlight her taste for strong, creative personalities, even if that meant turbulence. At this stage, Kim Basinger occupies a unique place in Hollywood memory. Younger fans might remember her cameo in 50 Shades Freed or voice roles in a random cameo. Those from older generations recall the shy model who conquered the 1980s with her mesmerizing looks and edgy film roles, culminating in an Oscar. She's arguably a forerunner for many modern actresses who openly speak about mental health struggles or personal boundaries in an industry that can be all-consuming. Basinger revealed her own battles with anxiety, sometimes refusing to leave her house for months. Yet she overcame it to stand on big sets and deliver performances that shaped pop culture. That's quite comedic in a cosmic sense. The cripplingly shy child who ended up center stage with millions admiring her face. It's a testament to how unstoppable a dream can be, especially when laced with a rebellious streak that refuses to let fear define her. Today she remains somewhat reclusive, living life on her terms, occasionally stepping into comedic cameo territory or supporting philanthropic work. She seems content to let the next generation rediscover her iconic roles in streaming catalogs, from 9.5 Weeks to Batman to LA Confidential. If there's a moral to her saga, it's that no meltdown is final. You can bankrupt, you can divorce in a hail of paparazzi, you can vanish from the screen for years and still reemerge to the sweetest triumph or comedic cameo. Basinger's life is comedic in a Greek sense. It follows a cyclical pattern of ups and downs, but always with a spark of humor in her refusal to be destroyed. Her comedic sense is subtle, though. She's never the loud comedic actress, more the quick wit with a soft voice. In short, Kim Basinger is an actress of contradictions, painfully shy but modeling for big bucks, a mainstream star who took edgy roles, an Oscar winner who faced near financial ruin, a comedic cameo queen who overcame paralyzing anxiety. She's never been comfortable with labels or easy definitions, and that might be her greatest comedic trick of all, convincing the world she's a simple sex symbol or a tragic star while quietly forging her own path on her own terms. She overcame half a dozen heartbreaks, soared, and fell financially, but kept her comedic sense. She stands, even at an older age, as a testament to how a star's longevity often hinges on adaptability and self-belief, even when plagued by self-doubt. So if you see her name pop up in a new cameo or a nostalgic reference, just remember, behind that ethereal face is an unbreakable spirit, a comedic determination that no meltdown or heartbreak could truly extinguish. She remains Kim Basinger, the girl from Athens who danced her way to improbable Hollywood greatness, and did it with a mixture of wry humor, defiant vulnerability, and a determination that never quite gave up on itself.